Good afternoon and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. Another beautiful day. The sun is pouring in to the house that we are staying in. Now, obviously this is, another day of isolation. So in order to kind of just make things a little bit more amusing for my son, we've decided to let my beard grow quite long. Now, obviously I'm wearing a hat, which was his idea and something I thought I would do for a bit of fun. Now, how are you all doing? I hope you're keeping sane. I hope you're not climbing the walls, and I hope you're not going stir crazy, and I hope you're really enjoying your perfume, as well as keeping sane, keeping clean and keeping safe. So, originally, when I started with sort of the fragrance journey, as they call it, I did a lot of blind buying, which I'm trying to sort of stop now. I haven't done much blind buying at all lately. But I still have the legacy of that in the piles and piles and piles of cheapies. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, is some cheapies. Now, I sometimes get great sort of spiritual enlightenment and relief, and I enjoy having a parcel delivered with something particularly nice in it. So, that's one of the reasons we blind buy. I suppose it's nice to have something to look forward to. So all of these perfumes we're going to look at today can be had for under £20, and they would obviously be a good option for a blind buy. Now, just one thing though, at this moment in time, with regards to blind buying, do you really need to have something delivered? If you really, really, really are desperate for a treat, then maybe just buy one or something like that. Because I think, all our delivery guys, the postal services and everything like that, they're stretched to capacity at the moment. So if we're putting unwanted, giving them unwanted exposure, unwanted grief, just for the sake of it, please think about it. If you really, really, really need to buy it, then buy it. And if you don't, wait until the crisis is over and then you can enjoy your blind buys. So, okay, we're going to look at some real cheapies. We're going to start with this one, which is called Dunhill Edition. This is a super, super cheapie. It smells divine. It originally came out in 1984, and it's kind of like a spicy, citrusy, bergamot, lemon, all that kind of thing going on in here. Really, really beautiful smell. It actually reminds me a little bit of Swedoff's Rasputin, which is obviously a lot more expensive. I mean, this was, I think, £16. So it's a good fragrance. The only thing I will say is the performance is pretty bad. It doesn't last that long, but while it's in its pomp, it's really, really nice. It would be worth carrying a decanter around. It'd be perfect for an office frag, and I really enjoy sort of bumming around the house with it. It's it's a nice spicy freshie, which I really, really enjoy. So that is well worth having a look at, and that is Dunhill Edition. This is the very latest incarceration of it, which is the one made in America, and the performance is shocking. Apparently, if you can get one of the older ones, the performance is pretty good, and they do still smell quite similar. So next up, from the house of Ferrari, from their Essence line, we have Ferrari's Noble Fig. Now look how much juice of that I've got through. I absolutely love this. This is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. It's got all sorts in it. It's got fig leaf in it, pink pepper. It's got mandarin orange, clary sage, iris, musks, and there's a bit of patchouli in the dry down. But it's a beautiful, sweet green fragrance, and I absolutely love this. The performance is pretty bloody good too. This lasts a good 6-7 hours, and when you consider the cost for 100 mils and these beautiful bottles, this is a super, super bargain. I know Bright Neroli gets sort of all the plaudits and stuff, but I think this is easily as good, if not a bit better than Bright Neroli. It's a really, really lovely fragrance. So if you just bear with me a second, the next up, we have another from Dunhill, and this is Desire Red, which is another cracking fragrance, actually. This is a lot better performance than the other Dunhill that we've just been speaking about. This is more, to me, I'm going to put a little bit on actually at the moment. This is more of a sort of a barbershop, to be honest. It has a lot of lavender in it. It has some citruses. It's quite bright. There's some rose in here as well, and that comes to play in the dry down. It smells divine. As I say, pretty good performance. I think this is another one. I think this came out in 2000. I don't know if it's been mucked about with very much, but it performs pretty well. And again, under £20 for 100 ml. This would be a really, really good one if you're sort of building a collection and you want to try and add some bits and bobs to it to widen it. Because this is a good fragrance for casual environments. It's quite masculine. It may suit the more mature fragrance enthusiast, but I really, really like this. I could easily, if I worked in an office, I could easily wear this to the office. But as it happens, for now, I work in a living room, and I can certainly enjoy it in the living room. So yeah, well worth looking at, and a really, really good price. So that's one of the better ones. And then not finally, now we have Kalsat Al Arabia Royal Blends. This is by Saffir. And look at the presentation on this one's absolutely glorious. This is probably the prettiest and the best made of all the cheapies that I've got. It's a really solid glass bottle with this sort of plasticky gold effect, which actually looks quite good. It's robust, the spray is excellent. It's also another one, a bit like Saffir's Anna Abiyada, which is kind of based on Herba Pura. It's not... it's a bit more of an intense smell than the Anna Abiyada, but you certainly wouldn't need to have both of them. So if you've already bought that Saffir one, don't look at this one because they are very, very similar. But this is nice. Performance is good. You get 6, 7 or 8 hours out of it. It's fruity with some vanilla and some spicing. Very sweet, so be aware of that. If you don't like overly sweet perfumes, you probably won't like this one. Next, we have an old classic that I love, which is a Lapidus Pour Homme. This is an 80s powerhouse. It's a monstrous fragrance. It's got everything in it. It's got pine in it. It's got smoke in it. It's got you name it. It's a beast mode fragrance as well. I particularly like this one, but my son hates it, so I'm not really wearing it very much at the moment. But honestly, for the money you put, I mean, this is, I hate the bottle though, to be honest. It's a real kind of like old style, you know, old school bottle. A lot of people like it. It's just not for me. And if we weren't sort of quarantined and we weren't in a house, I would probably be wearing this because it's one that I like to wear for myself. But it's not one that people seem to like on me, but I actually do like it. It has got some pineapple in here, so don't think you're going to get something that's vaguely like Aventus because it's got pineapple in it. Couldn't be further away from Aventus. It's massive. It's very old school cologne-y, and if you oversprayed this, you would be instantly awarded the title of the cologne guy because it is incredibly strong, incredibly long lasting, and it just belts out. But for the money you pay for it, it's about 16 quid I think I paid for this one. It's such a good deal. I really like these sort of more vintage smelling fragrances. I think they're absolutely fabulous. But this one it's a bit of an acquired taste, but at £16 for 100 mils, it's well worth taking a punt on. You might love it. To some people, this is an underrated gem, and to others, this is like, you know, the horror show from the 80s of, you know, fragrances that, you know, time should have forgotten, but it's still going strong, and it's still a real powerhouse. I love it. But then again, you know, I like a lot of weird stuff. So maybe this is for you, and maybe it isn't. There's only one way to find out. Is spend your £16 and get a bottle of this, because it is really, really good fun. And finally, we have this release from Salvador Dali. It's actually called Salvador. It came out in 2010, and I blind bought this from TK Maxx for the grand sum of about £14. It was in a sale, so it may be cheaper. I actually, while I was in there, I had Fragrantica on my phone, and I was quickly referencing it to see if it's going to be one that I would like if I took a blind buy on it. And I completely looked up the wrong perfume, so it's not... This is not at all what I thought it was going to be, but it was a happy mistake because I really enjoy this one. It's quite long lasting, projection's not massive. You get a good chuck out for the first sort of half an hour, and then it sits very close to your skin. But it's quite a long lasting one, and it has some strange notes in it. It's got pear in it, it's got incense in it, it's got vanilla in it, but it doesn't smell at all like the sum of those notes. It's quite an interesting one. The closest thing I've got that smells like it is Boss Bottle Dude. There's something in this that's slightly animalic, and I get almost like a sweaty vibe off it, which I know sounds appalling, but I quite like animalics, and I quite like those sort of musky fragrances. So it's kind of like a fruity, fruity, creamy, citrusy type affair, but there's something animalic in it which does make it smell a bit like Boss Bottle Dude. Now, I think it may be because Boss Bottle Dude has got apple in it and this has got pear in it, and then, you know, they're kind of a bit similar in their scent profiles, which may be why I'm getting a Boss Bottle Dude vibe from it. It's not as good in terms of performance as Boss Bottled Oud, so if you were looking to buy this instead of Boss, I would get the Boss, because that's so cheap at the moment as well. You can get like a 100ml bottle of that for the best part of 30 quid. So this is a nice one. I love the bottle. It's got the crazy lips on it and the cap's very functional. Good sprayer, pretty bottle. It's worth it just for that, to be honest, but I mean, obviously if you're going to buy it, you're going to want to wear it. So it might be worth taking a punt on. It might be for you, or it might not. There's only one way to find out. You're not going to get a sample of this anywhere, that's for sure. But if you do find it for a bargain price, have a look, because it is worth it. And if you don't like it and you have blind bought it, look at that, you've got a beautiful little paperweight. So there you go. Anyway, listen, I just also wanted to say a big thank you to George from the Fragrance Apprentice. He referenced our channel and spoke very highly of me and Rich's work that we're putting out. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for that, George. It's very much appreciated, and I want to wish you all the best in these trying of times. Listen, if you got any questions about anything, please have a look on put some comments on YouTube, or if not, find us on Instagram, because I'm on Instagram all the time at the moment, and you can message me there or chat to me there. If you've got anything that you want to talk about, or you're going a bit stir crazy and you just want to chat about perfume with someone, please hit us up. We are more than happy to give you our time at the moment. And let's face it, we've all got a lot of time on our hands. So listen, as always, thank you very much for your time. It's so appreciated. We've had a lot of new subscribers come on board, so again, thank you for that as well. Please stay tuned. We're going to try and get out as many videos as we can. Obviously, I film them and they go up to Rich, and then Rich edits them, and it's the editing and the putting them up and everything else that seems to take the most time. So Rich has obviously got his own tons of stuff doing as well. So I'm filming as many as I can, and we're going to try and get them up, and I'm going to keep running with the hat theme. We'll try and do I'm sure my son has got 100 hats, so I will get the pleasure of wearing a different hat for every video, which is making him, he's over in the corner of the room grinning. So we will keep that going, and anything for a bit of a laugh. Any suggestions or any themes or anything that you want us to do, let us know, and we will see if it's possible. We shall do it. So listen, take very good care of yourselves, and we will see you on the next video. Many thanks, and bye.